Order. Order. Honourable members, I understand the Honourable Minister of Finance and Development Planning has a bill to table. Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have the honor to present a bill entitled the Appropriation 2015-2016 Bill 2015, number 1, 2015. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Let the bill be read a first time.
Appropriation 2015-2016 Bill. 2015 Bill number 1 of 2015. First reading.
One for second reading, Honourable Minister.
Forthwith, Madam Speaker.
Notice of motions and orders of the day. Appropriation 2015-2016 Bill. 2015 number 1 of 2015. Second reading.
Order. Order. Honourable members, the question is that the appropriation 2015/2016 bill 2015 number 1 of 2015 be read a second time. Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I have the honor this afternoon to present to the National Assembly budget proposals for the financial year 2015-2016. Since this is the first budget presentation after the election of a new parliament, that is the 11th parliament, I wish to draw the attention of honourable members to Section 5, Subsection 4 of the Public Finance Management Act of 2011, which states that, and I quote, "The Minister shall annually present to the National Assembly a report on the current and projected state of the economy, finances of Botswana, and the fiscal policy of government," close quote. This legal undertaking defines Botswana's budgeting process and forms the basis for consideration of the annual budget and related policies and strategies by this National Assembly. Madam Speaker, as part and parcel of our budgeting process, we have continued to undertake consultations with different stakeholders. Such consultations have enhanced the transparency of our budget preparation process and improved the understanding of the national budget by the general public, which is important. Budget consultations for 2015-16 financial year, held in September 2014, revealed a broad consensus on the challenges facing this country, such as unemployment and poverty, as well as an endorsement by the general stakeholders of the economic priorities of promoting growth and economic diversification. This endorsement was in recognition of the importance of economic growth in increasing the national income, creating employment opportunities, and generating government revenues for redistribution through economic and social policies and programs. To achieve the goals of promoting economic growth and diversification, government will continue to adopt appropriate policies and strategies and make substantial budgetary allocations to human capital and physical infrastructure development, and recognition of their importance in improving sector productivity and competitiveness. However, it should be noted that the role of the government in promoting economic growth is a facilitatory one, through the provision of a conducive environment for efficient operations of the private sector, which should be the engine of growth, private sector that is. To this end, domestic enterprises will also need to play their part by improving their operational efficiency, enhancing productivity, and adopting appropriate technologies in order to enhance their access to global supply chains and networks, which is necessary for global competitiveness. Madam Speaker, despite the positive domestic economic outlook for the financial year 2015-16, there is need to continue with prudent management of our resources, given the continued uncertainty over the recovery of the global economy. To this end, expenditure management and control should remain a priority if fiscal policy is to continue to be supportive of a stable macroeconomic environment, which is necessary for growth and economic diversification. This means that the implementation of our projects and programs should be guided by the principles of efficiency, effectiveness, and financial discipline. Hence, the need to continuously strive for a balance between economic and social investment decisions to ensure that emphasis on one does not jeopardize progress in the other. Above all, there is need to ensure value for money throughout the implementation of our projects and programs. Madam Speaker, that was by way of introduction. I now turn to the review of the global and domestic performance and outlook in order to put into context the budget proposals that I shall be presenting to this House today. First, global economic review and outlook. Madam Speaker, the performance of the global economy continues to be uneven, with recovery remaining fragile in 2014. According to the latest World Economic Outlook report released by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in January 2015, projected world economic growth remained unchanged at 3.3% in 2014, the same growth achieved in 2013. Advanced economies were expected to grow by 1.8% in 2014 as compared to 1.3% in 2013. In sub-Saharan Africa region, growth is expected to be 4.8% in 2014 compared to 5.2% recorded the previous year. Some of the downside risks that affected global output in 2014 comprise uncertainty about the future oil price path, financial markets volatility, as well as stagnation and low potential growth, especially in advanced economies and emerging markets. Looking to the future, the global economy is expected to grow by 3.5% in 2015, down from a previous forecast of 3.8%. Such growth is underpinned by expected better performance for the advanced countries, which are projected to grow by 2.4%. Emerging and developing economies, including sub-Saharan Africa, are expected to grow at a lower rate of 4.3% compared to what happened in 2014. The slower growth in emerging and developing economies is expected to impact negatively on domestic economic prospects through diminished demand for our exports and reduced government revenue. Regional economic review and outlook. Madam Speaker, real domestic products growth in the SADC region averaged 4.9% in 2013, just slightly higher than the 4.8% in the previous year. The moderate growth prospect of the region is due to the decline in global commodity prices and slow global economic recovery, as mentioned before. However, the region is expected to have registered a higher growth rate of 5.2% in 2014. Madam Speaker, the SADC region continues to face several development challenges, such as youth unemployment and high incidence of poverty, and we are part of this region. Therefore, the coincidence should not be surprising. To address these challenges in the coming years, the region will need to grow faster than the 5.2% projected for 2015, which could be achieved through regional integration. In this regard, the revised SADC Regional Indicative Strategic Plan for the period 2015 to 2020 has identified industrial development and market integration as some of the key priorities to drive regional integration. I now move to domestic economic performance and outlook. First, economic performance of this country. Madam Speaker, over the past year, the domestic macroeconomic environment remained stable, with positive outlook as shown by the performance of the main economic indicators, such as economic growth, inflation and monetary policy, balance of payments, and exchange rate movements. The performance of these variables reflects the impact of various and current government policies and strategies to drive the economy. I deal with economic growth. Madam Speaker, real GDP registered a growth rate of 5.8% in 2013 compared to 4.3% in 2012. This growth was attributable to both mining and non-mining sectors of the economy. The mining sector registered a significant growth rate of 10.6% in 2013, owing to strong demand in the global economy of our diamonds, especially in the emerging economies like China and India. The non-mining sectors collectively registered a positive growth of 5% in 2013, with trade, hotels and restaurants growing at 6.3%, social and personal services at 6%, while general government and finance and business services grew by 5.5% each. However, the water and electricity sector recorded a negative growth of 27.2% in 2013. The continued underperformance of the water and electricity sector is of major concern, obviously, given the importance of water and power in the economy. To address the challenges facing this sector, government continues to undertake regulatory reforms and has allocated this sector a substantial development budget in the 2015-16 financial year. Inflation and monetary policy. Madam Speaker, domestic inflation rose from 4.1% in December 2013 to 4.6% in August 2014 and has since declined, good thing, to 3.8% in December 2014, remaining within the Bank of Botswana's objective range of 3 to 6%. Inflation is expected to remain within Bank of Botswana's objective range in the medium term. In terms of the monetary policy, the focus remains on monetary stability, which fosters international competitiveness of the domestic industries and supports the broader national objectives of sustainable economic growth and employment creation. With the positive medium-term inflation outlook and credit development, Bank of Botswana has continued to maintain an accommodative monetary policy stance during the year. The bank rate was maintained at 7.5% in 2014 after it was last adjusted downwards by 50 basis points in December 2013. At the same time, commercial bank credit grew by 14% from 39.4 billion in November 2013 to 44.9 billion in November 2014. And this is indeed supportive of economic growth. Balance of payments and foreign exchange reserves. Madam Speaker, the balance of payments continued to record strong performance during 2014. Preliminary estimates indicate that the current account of the balance of payments registered a surplus of 13.1 billion in 2014, a moderate increase of 1.5% from the 12.9 billion in 2013. This is attributable to the increase in receipts from the Southern African Customs Union, SACU, which increased from 13.8 billion pula in 2013 to 15 billion pula in 2014. As a result of the positive current account balance, the overall balance of payment is projected to record a surplus of 10 billion pula in 2014, a significantly higher surplus from the 1.3 billion in 2013. The positive overall balance of payments contributed to the increase in the foreign exchange reserves, as can be expected. As at the end of December 2014, the reserves amounted to 79 billion pula, equivalent to 18 months of import cover of goods and services, a necessary 18 months import cover. This is an increase of 16.5% from the 67.8 billion level of reserves in December 2013. In terms of the special drawing rights, SDR, and the United States dollar, the foreign exchange reserves were SDR 5.7 billion and US dollar 8.3 billion, respectively, as at the end of December 2014. Madam Speaker, I am pleased to report that government's net financial asset position has improved significantly. As at the end of March 2014, government's net financial assets stood at 1.7% of GDP, an improvement from the negative 6.9% of GDP in March 2013. That is how bad the situation could be. This was because government's balances at Bank of Botswana had risen from 20.61 billion pula to 31.75 billion pula over the 2013-14 financial year, while government's net debt and guarantees had increased only marginally over the same period from 28.33 billion pula to 29.52 billion pula. We expect our net financial asset position to continue to improve further by the end of the current and coming financial years. However, Madam Speaker, we need to decrease our net debt. We need to decrease our net debt and increase our balances in the government investment account if we are to be in a position to absorb a major external shock of the magnitude we experienced in the financial years 2008-9 and 2009-10. Exchange rates development. Madam Speaker, in terms of the bilateral exchange rate movements, the pula depreciated by 2.4% against the SDR, while it appreciated by 1.7% against the South African rand by the end of December 2014. Against the individual SDR currencies, there was a mixed performance, with the pula weakening against the US dollar and the British pound by 8.3% and 2.9% respectively, while it appreciated by 4% against the euro and 4.5% against the Japanese yen. Performance of our public enterprises. Madam Speaker, there is a need to closely monitor the operations of parastatal organizations with a view to ensuring that they continue to contribute to growth and employment creation. To facilitate this, each ministry will be required to implement the guidelines for the exercise of shareholder oversight over parastatals in order to strengthen the governance and oversight structures of these parastatals, which should contribute to the overall improvement in their performance. With respect to overall performance, the country's parastatal organizations continue to display uneven performance during the year, with some performing satisfactorily, while others recorded operational losses. Parastatals which performed satisfactorily included Botswana Telecommunications Corporation Limited, BTC Limited, National Development Bank, Botswana Communications Regulatory Authority, BOCRA, Botswana Housing Corporation, and Botswana Meat Commission. BTC Limited recorded a net profit of 273.6 million in 2013, compared to a net profit of 236.9 million in 2012, an improvement. And this was due to the growth in revenue as a result of increased customer base, especially in the mobile business sector. NDB registered a net profit of 45.8 million pula in 2013 compared to 40.6 million pula in 2012. I understand due to initiatives such as Ntatosa Kumuraki initiative by NDB, which I understand continues to attract customers. With continued demand for services due to the significant growth in the use of mobile internet technology, particularly smartphones, BOCRA recorded a net profit of 40.6 million in 2013 compared to 31.2 million in 2012. The Botswana Housing Corporation's net profit declined to 34.9 million in 2013 from 50.4 million in 2012 due to, among others, the rising finance costs. After experiencing hardships in its operations since 2008, the Botswana Meat Commission finally recorded a net profit of 25.8 million in 2013, compared to a loss of 324.1 million in 2012. This was mostly boosted by increased revenue as a result of readmission of the Commission to the European Union market during the year. The parastatal organizations that continue to experience operational and financial challenges include Botswana Power Corporation and Water Utilities Corporation. BPC recorded a not less loss of 1.3 billion in 2013. Yes, 1.3 billion, not million. Compared to a not less net loss of 1.1 billion in 2012 due to increasing generation, transmission, and distribution expenses. A large part of the direct costs were incurred in procuring power from external sources, a part of which was subsidized by government through an emergency power grant. Water Utilities Corporation also recorded a net loss of 191.9 million in 2013 compared to a loss of 541.6 million in 2012. Some improvement, but still a big loss. This was due to challenges relating to the implementation of the government water sector reforms project, which include rehabilitation of infrastructure inherited from the district councils with increased staff and training costs, as well as increased costs on water, wastewater treatment and distribution. Improving efficiency in the public sector. Madam Speaker, as part of the strategy to improve the efficiency of the public sector, the government adopted a privatization policy of Botswana of 2000. In this regard, the BTC Limited privatization process, although delayed, is at an advanced stage, with the initial public offer expected in the first half of 2015. The IPO process will ensure that BTC Limited shares are offered to citizens, which should empower them through dividend payments. Meanwhile, the privatization and transformation of National Development Bank into a commercial bank is in progress. As is the case with BTC Limited, government will retain 51% of NDB shares. Of the remaining 49%, 30% will be offered to citizens only. 5% allotted to citizen employees of NDB through an employee share ownership plan. And 40% will be offered to both citizens and non-citizens in order to boost the trading of the shares with positive impact on the value of the share. As part of the public services outsourcing program, government continues to outsource non-core public services to private sector companies. Services currently outsourced include ground maintenance, security guard services, and cleaning services. To support ministries in implementing the outsourcing program, the Public Enterprises Evaluation and Privatization Agency, PEPA, in collaboration with the Botswana Service College, the Botswana Public Service College, has developed training programs to build contract management capacity within the government. Furthermore, facilities management companies have been engaged by government through the Ministry of Infrastructure, Science and Technology to maintain senior secondary schools across the country. Madam Speaker, the implementation of the rationalization strategy adopted in 2009 resulted in the merging of various parastatal organizations and the establishment of new entities, such as the Botswana Investment and Trade Center, BITEC, Botswana Institute of Technology, Research and Innovation, BITRI, the Human Resources Development Council, and Botswana Qualification Authority. The main objective of the rationalization strategy is to align service delivery mechanisms of government by coordinating and harmonizing the use of resources. This is expected to result in operational synergy, cost savings, and the promotion of efficiency in the economy. Improving project implementation. Madam Speaker, project implementation remains one of the challenges facing government. During NDP 10, the development budget has been underspent by an average of 17.3% for the years 2011-12 through 2013-14 due to delayed project implementation. Even where projects are finally delivered, I'm afraid they are usually characterized by cost overruns and questionable quality. Government therefore continues to take measures to improve on project implementation. To this end, the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Board, the PPADB for short, is implementing the Integrated Procurement Management System to enhance procurement management, improve transparency, and reduce lead times in procurement. The system provides a platform for online bidding, which includes preparation of procurement plans, generation of invitation to tender documents, downloading of documents by contractors, online tender submission, as well as online adjudication. PPADB has also intensified the training of procuring entities, committees of the board, ministerial tender committees, and the district administration tender committees to enhance their procurement skills.